Episode 323 of Bucco Bantr. The Pirates take 2 of 3 at Wrigley. We will recap that, and then we'll preview the home series versus the Washington Nationals. You're watching the Bucco Bantr podcast, brought to you by the Just Baseball Media Network. Cue the music.
Rockin' 101, she compliment my taste. Whiskey in my lemonade, cause I like the way it tastes. Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates. Order steak by the plate, sending case after case. Run my race at my pace, clear the grass of the snakes.
Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Bantr, and we're fresh off a series at Wrigley, NL Central duel. The Pirates win the series, but you come away feeling kind of icky. Do you have that same feeling, Adam?
I feel like years have been taken off my life.
That too. I guess that's an icky feeling.
It is an icky feeling. It was, listen, they took 2 of 3. I can't complain too much. Game 2, I watched with you. Man, was that a heart attack wrapped up as a baseball game. Just from the beginning to the end. Game 1, they were getting no hit until they weren't with Brian Reynolds. And then today was just such a letdown. So yeah, you take the series, you win 2 of 3 in Chicago, which historically speaking has not been a strong suit of the Pirates. They have not been able to accomplish that in quite some time. Stacking wins is important. Getting what you can is important. But there are some glaring concerns that need to be discussed.
Before we get into those concerns, I just want to say, not if this makes anyone feel better, I'm happy. I'm not trying to make anyone feel better. But last year's team does not win this series. Probably gets swept, right? Shota Imanaga probably goes deeper in the game. I mean, we worked some counts against him, got his pitch count up early, was able to get to that bullpen. He had 18 whiffs through 6 innings. Yesterday's game, they probably don't get out of that jam. And then today's game, another jam. That bullpen's taxed, and I'm sure that's what we're getting into here. But, they're battling. And you got 2 wins. I'll take them however I can get them. But there are some holes that we need to discuss.
I think Noah brought it up on X. You got to have a good bullpen because the defense could make a silly mistake like what happened today at any given point. You can't give up free bases. The walks have been an absolute issue for this team. Not only just the walks coming out of the bullpen, because that is an issue, but lead off walks, free bases to start an inning is never okay at any level. And we just cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again and going to the same guys in the same situations when they're not working out. And I think guys have shown some resilience and they've battled a little bit and they've gotten out of sticky spots. We saw it with Isaac Matson. Justin Lawrence got out the other day, but when is enough? When you see a guy walk too many guys or leave middle fastballs or sliders, and I'll stick on Lawrence because I'm talking about the series before when he was able to bounce back a little bit, and then you have a little bit of hope, and then you go into the series, and then game 2, it's not there, and then we go back to him the same situation in game 3, and then it's not there. And then it's there, and you're like, oh, my God, he's going to get out of this inning. And then it just goes all downhill from it's exactly what you would expect. And I don't know how many times you could afford to do that, Scott. When you have a whole bullpen full of concerns, you can't keep going to the same guys in the same situations.
Yeah, I think they've got an interesting issue here. According to producer Jay, Pirates bullpen prior to today has walked the 6th most batters in the league, 34. You just can't do that, man. This bullpen can't do that with the defense behind them. And I think Donnie's done a good job of bringing in some defensive replacements later in the game, but still, any bullpen defense or not can't do that and be successful. Like I said at our live show Saturday at Allegheny Coffee and Tea in the Strip, this bullpen is oddly constructed, right? You got Hunter Barca, who it's becoming more and more clear that he's just not a reliever, a bullpen arm. I think he's probably going to thrive more in a starting role, and putting him in that position, is he a guy that they're toying with too much mentally, right? That's something you got to be concerned about. And then you got guys like Jose Urquidy, who's here on a $1.1 million deal. I think you cut the losses there because, one, you're not using him. And when you're using him, it's very ineffective, like the end of game today. So really you're relying on Lawrence, Matson, and Johan Ramirez to be your bulk guys, because Mason's not a bulk guy. Mason's going to come in 2/3 of an inning, bulk or a high leverage position. You got Dennis Santana and Gregory Soto that are mostly nails on the back end. Isaac, you can't expect him to do this 100 times a season, but like he does it most of the time. You need more flexibility in your bullpen. And I just don't, especially with this long stretch of games without a break coming up, the bullpen's taxed. I think you cut your losses with one of them right now. And I think that's Urquidy. I think it's a very easy decision. I know it's early, but Mike Clevenger probably should have made this team over Urquidy out of camp anyways. And I think he's one of the few arms that has done well to start in AAA. I think you call him up here. He's got big league experience. He's a veteran. And you give him some of those innings because you're not using Urquidy anyway.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. How could you not? Urquidy is non-existent on this baseball team. And to be fair, Justin Lawrence is pretty much of no use at this point. I think the stuff is disgusting. And when it works, it makes people look ridiculous. But we can't count on it just to work and count on him just to get whiffs, because it is too far and few between. Jay, you have something to say here on the bullpen? Because I'm going to go off on a rant.
Yeah, really quick. If you guys want to talk about other options out of the bullpen, Cam Sanders has been off to a hot start too. 3.6 ERA in 6 games. He struck out 10 in 5 innings. I had it backwards. Like, that's another guy that was kind of around camp until the very end. Somebody else that could factor in here into maybe a middle relief role, which is desperately what they need right now. Somebody that can take some of those innings off of guys like Bucco or people like that. So just wanted to throw that in real quick.
Well, we know the team loves Cam Sanders, and I wouldn't hate that. He's a veteran, but at the same time, you got very few guys that have options, like Lawrence or Urquidy. These are guys that don't have options. Johan Ramirez, and Johan's not a problem. I mean, I love the way he battled the other day, and not to make excuses for Justin Lawrence. I don't know if you guys saw that first at bat with Seiya Suzuki. I mean, he walks the first 2 batters, but Seiya Suzuki definitely swung at strike 3 there. So
it was all over the place today with the umpires.
It was all over the place, right? And then they called Brandon Lau on that swing, which was insane to me. But again, he's got to be all that aside. He's got to be in the zone more to get those swings and misses on that frisbee sweeper. He's got to be in the zone more, and he just hasn't been to start.
He's 100% reliant on Chase. It's 100% reliant on Chase. He's not getting any swings and misses in zone. You saw it with the Padres series, right? If he's starting at your hip and that slider's coming in, the book is out, right? Then you just sit and get the bat extended, and there's no problem there. So I understand that he's out of options, but you can't afford to also have a poor defense on the back end and then also rely on your bullpen to not screw it up, especially when you're putting up 5 to 7 runs a ball game like that. You can't blow games like that. I know it's early and you took a series, but that's why it feels icky. Like you said, it's just a slow burn throughout the whole game of, oh my God, I think I know what's going to happen. And today was prime for the long ball. If you didn't take the over on the home runs today at Wrigley, what are you doing? Because the wind was blowing out like 20 miles per hour. I think it pushed O'Neill's home run an extra 65 feet, they said, which is insane. It definitely helped Lau out on the first grand slam. But that's what you need. You have Bubba Chandler, you have Paul Skeens, you have Braxton Ashcraft, you have dogs that should be able to eat up 5 to 6 innings. You can't be so hesitant to go to your bullpen and pray for the best, especially when you have a 5-run lead, Scott. It just can't happen.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some arms available that have reliever experience too. Like, are you going to cut 2 guys right away and rely on Cam Sanders, 2 AAA guys to come up? Probably not. Like, I mean, I know the name that's been floating around a lot is Michael Kopech. Michael Kopech has some high leverage experience. Would love that flyer. They've done well on flyers in the past. Dennis Santana, but I would bet against them making 2 big moves to shake up that bullpen right away. I think Urquidy is the most obvious one at this point, and Justin Lawrence is only used in low leverage, positions where you're not relying on him in a bulk role.
We're talking about him relying on Chase. When he's in the zone, he's getting hammered. Scott, 27.8% barrel rate before today. It's in the first percentile, 61.1% hard hit rate.
Yeah.
That just can't happen with relief guys. And like you mentioned, we don't have a bulk guy because you're not using Urquidy in that spot for whatever reason. Not that I'd feel comfortable with him in that reason, but you need someone like Carmen. You mentioned Clevenger. He should be on the ball. He should be in the ball club right now. Like it has to happen for this series, especially you have 7 games in a row at home. The bullpen has just been taxed. You're going through all these different options. You need somebody who you could rely on. And I'm not saying Clevenger is going to come in here and shove right away, but he's a better option than a non-existent Jose Urquidy, whatever your plan is with him. I quite literally do not understand the Jose Urquidy experiment. It makes no sense to me.
I'm not,
again, I don't want to put all this on Jose Urquidy. It's not his fault, but they're not using him. And the situation you're putting him don't work. So what's the point?
Yeah, it's not the 11 million that you threw at Marcell Ozuna, right? It's 1.1. It was an experiment. It's not working. I think you move on. I think you move on right away. And Clevenger the fastball was really playing up. The Vila was sitting 96, 97, which really helped the changeup. I think he's a guy that you could throw out there and pitch multiple innings. I think they're going to find out sooner rather than later that they're going to need it this week.
DK seems to love what he saw from him in the spring.
We heard him straight up. Like we heard him live in his press conference talk about how much he liked the stuff he was seeing from Mike Clevenger. So I don't know. Haven't heard anything, but it makes too much sense.
You know who could go multiple innings. He has tons of major league starting experience. You just don't have that in the middle of the bullpen right now.
And I also fear that Hunter Barco, you're not going to mess with Carmen just yet because Carmen's actually pitched well for the most part. Hunter Barco, if anything, is probably going to be optioned to get some innings, to get some starts. And that sucks to see because it didn't go as you planned up here in the bigs to start the season. But I do think he needs stretched out a bit, and I do see him as part of this rotation at some point.
You could tell it's a mental thing because he's not hitting his spots.
Yeah.
He missed so many spots, and it's the same with Lawrence too. But Bart setting up inside, you could tell that there was a game plan to get in under the hands, and everything was arm side with him. He's missing out of the zone away every single time. Producer Jay mentions Jose Urquidy has a grand total of 8 innings in the big leagues across the last 2 seasons.
With the 2 teams that we're playing today.
Right. But going back to Barco, it is a mental thing. And I don't think I understand that's probably what you wanted with the Ashcraft situation to get him ramped up, get him some big league experience. But it might just be best with his arsenal to be a starter. Just concede that point. It doesn't look good out of the bullpen. It's a totally different mental game. We talk to guys on the Down on the Farm episode all the time about being a starter compared to coming out of the bullpen and the different mentality. Scott, you could speak to it as a former pitcher.
Yeah,
it's night and day. And
some guys aren't wired for it. We talked to Gavin Adams. Gavin Adams, he thinks starters are psychos because they have to plan up until the day that they get to the ballpark and get ready, mentally prepared. He goes, I just want to be told I'm going in and just go right in. I don't want to think about it. Everyone's wired differently, right? And maybe Hunter's just not wired for the bullpen.
I think he mentioned he's still getting used to it.
Sure.
And he has a large arsenal of pitches. You look, he has a very healthy arsenal. It just might not play in short stints, and it might not play in leverage situations. Even if he's coming into a clean inning, it's a totally different look. So the bullpen needs to get cleaned up, man. Braxton has just been so good. Let's focus on that before we get into the game recaps. You guys broke it down on the Patreon. If you haven't already checked it out, please go do. It's only $3 a month. The curveball has been outstanding. This year, 17 innings, 4 earned, 20 Ks, 2.12 ERA, and a 1.68 FIP. I agree with you. He looks like he could get Cy Young votes. He looks that good.
The arsenal is just really good. I'll just put it that way. We talked about it on the Patreon. He's got pitches that can work north to south. He's got pitches that work east to west. He can kind of toy with guys eye level at the plate. Right there, his curveball just starting in the first inning was just he was throwing fastball top of the zone and then breaking off a sharp curveball to the low corner of the zone. I mean, it's borderline unhittable. He's also just looked confident on the mound. I like the way he's carrying himself. Love everything I've seen from Braxton Ashcraft.
Again, starting pitching has looked really good. That's why the bullpen's all that more frustrating. There's that funny video online. The kid who's like, game 1 of 162 where your starter comes in and shoves 7 innings and the bullpen blows it right away and you start freaking out. That's kind of how I felt all series. And I think we do have some guys back there, but it didn't look like it this time, man. It really didn't.
Yeah, it's funny. I was with my parents today. And my dad's like, "Gosh, it's 5-0. Just wait till the bullpen blows." And I'm like, "All right, come on, man. Like it's 5. They've got off to a good start, but hey, that's what happened. Sometimes the old man knows something."
Jay, you got numbers on Braxton real quick?
Yeah, let's run through the curveball real quick. So he's throwing it 27.9% of the time. Opponents are hitting just 0.59. Let me see here. X slug is 123. Whiff rate over 53%, almost 54%. So that curveball has been a complete difference maker for him. There's just no one's touching it at all right now.
It's what you wanted, man. It's everything that you expected from last year's ramp up going into this year, and he has fulfilled that role even more.
Another thing, we talk about his arsenal. I love how deep it is and how he can mix pitches each start. He went predominantly four-seam curveball yesterday. The start before that, the curveball was the third or fourth most thrown pitch. Like he can really mix it up in the arsenal, see what's working for him that day. I mean, it just makes him that much more dangerous.
11 strikeouts with the curveball. The next most, the slider with 5. Absolutely nutty. Before we get into the game recaps, I think you should go to Smashed Waffles in Oakland and get the Bucco Bantr waffle. I mean, look at these things, Scott. If you're on the YouTube, you're seeing the most beautiful waffles you have in the entire world right here. Smash Waffles in Oakland. If you go in and you mention the Bucco Bantr home run of the week, guess what? You're getting 20% off your entire order. Doesn't have to be the Bucco Bantr waffle either. You just have to say the Bucco Bantr home run of the week. They'll give you 20% off your entire order. Scott went and got it the other day, and it looked incredible. And Scott, it tasted incredible too. Am I right?
Absolutely, man. Definitely can't wait to get another one.
Go to Smash Waffles in Oakland for your waffles today. Scott, let's get into the games. I'll get us kicked off here. Friday day game in Wrigleyville. Man, do they love their Friday day games there. Shota Imanaga has the Pirates number. And the goal for the Pirates for the rest of eternity against Shota Imanaga is just to make him pitch because you're not going to have success. Just work up that pitch count as much as you can. He went 6 innings, no hits, 9 Ks. He shoved. No hit into the 7th. They still win 2-0. Carmen Mlodzinski, we mentioned earlier, has been pitching really well. He got into a couple of jams as it happens with Carmen, but he got out of it. 5 1/3, 6 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 2 Ks. He's got a 2.51 ERA, 3 whiffs on the day. Heavy four-seam usage with the splitter. And then the bullpen. Montgomery was doors, 2/3 of an inning, 1 walk, 2 Ks. He was painting 100 on both of those strikeouts. Just looked incredible. Painting 100 on the inside corner, too. Good luck. Good luck with that. Isaac Mattson looked really good. 1 inning, 1 walk. Soto and Santana on the back end. Soto had 1 inning, 2 walks. Santana 1 inning, 2 Ks. The turning point here was Brian Reynolds off that Caleb Field bar. Hanging. And when I say hanging curveball down the middle of the plate. Just pulled the absolute snot out of it. Only offense they really needed this game. O'Hearn had really good ABs off of Shota. Just couldn't really get it together until Thielbar came in. He got the knock that Reynolds drove in. Team 11 Ks, 1 walk, 3 hits, 0 for 1 runners in scoring position, 2 left on base. The Cubs wasted an elite start here.
They absolutely did, man. I'll tell you what, that was something. It was fun to see the boys battle back there, and at the end of the game, continue to string it across some tough ABs. Let's go to Saturday, another day game. Braxton Ashcraft versus Edward Cabrera, the new Cub, 4-3 win in 11 innings. Ashcraft went 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 9 Ks, and 16 whiffs. We talked about how good he was just a little bit ago. Montgomery had a hold, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 Ks, has looked better as of late, more consistently. Justin Lawrence got a hold, even though 2/3 of an inning, 1 earned run, 1 walk. Gregory Soto had a hold. He finished that inning. Isaac Mattson, 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 K. Dennis Santana blew a save, a rare blown save for Dennis. 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 earned, 2 walks. Was maybe gassed from the day before. I don't know. But Johan Ramirez cleaned it up with the last 2 innings, even though he had us on our toes the entire time. He battled. It was really cool to see Ryan O'Hearn go and calm him down on the mound. His presence is definitely felt there. But let's talk about the bats. Oneil Cruz, 4 for 5, a double, 1 walk, 3 stolen bases. 3 stolen bases. That gives him 5 on the year. He had 3 hits over 113 miles an hour today. I'll tell you what, when he's at the plate, the bat in his hands is a weapon of mass destruction. It truly is. It truly is. I mean, there was a ball. We were all watching it together. I forget. It was Henry Davis or someone hit a ball right back at the pitcher, hit off the pitcher's hip. Noah was like, if that ball was hit by Oneil, that guy might have died. And that's very accurate, sadly, but that's how hard he's hitting the ball consistently, stringing together really good at bats. Nick York, too, 3 for 4 with a double. He just continues to hit, man. It's really good to see. Connor Griffin had his first stolen base, one of many this year with 1 hit. 12 hits total, 2 for 19 with runners in scoring position, 13 left on base, 12 Ks. Got across the runners that mattered and were able to hold off the Cubs at the end. Man, that gave me a heart attack.
Yeah. Again, years off my life in game 3 didn't help either. They lost 6-7. Bubba, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned, 2 walks, 4 Ks, gave up 2 solo home runs, 12 whiffs on the day, 42% four-seam usage. I think the key with Bubba here, man, is got to stay ahead in counts. We got to get ahead early because if he's going to the four-seam that much, you saw it with Dansby, great fastball hitter. It hits the Pirates really well. If you're just going to rely on that four-seam when you're down in counts, guys are going to get loaded up for it. Doesn't matter if you're throwing 99, 100 miles per hour. And that's exactly what happened. Gave up another home run to Ballesteros. Bucco, 1 2/3, 1 hit, 1 earned, 2 walks, 1 K. Won't spend too much time on this. We've just harped on it a ton. Lawrence looked not great. 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, 2 Ks. Urquidy, 1/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk. Lau, 2 home runs on the game, a grand slam. Cruz leadoff, home run. They looked good offensively. They took advantage of the wind at Wrigley. They were driving the ball. You want slug? You got slug here. O'Hearn, 2 for 4. KG had 2 strikeouts on the day. You'll see on screen the towering shot from Oneil. But as a team, here's the line that really matters. 15 Ks, Scott. 3 walks, 7 hits, 1 for 8 runners in scoring position, 5 left on base, and a really bad throwing error by Brian Reynolds late in the game. Again, if you're going to get poor performances from the bullpen, you need to have some surety with the defense behind you. And that was just a silly error. You talk about the silliest of silly errors. That was really, really bad.
Also, Brandon Lau's route to that infield fly was interesting. He needed to be coming in on that ball. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like he should have gotten behind it a little bit more. I mean, that was a tough one. Him falling back and allowing Dansby to score on an infield fly. That was rough.
Yeah, I thought that might just be the wind that was taking him. Maybe
very well.
It looks like he's underneath it, and then the wind just keeps taking him and taking him.
Yeah,
just still a bad look. I mean, I put it in our Discord, like tagging on that.
It's crazy.
Is a bad look. I mean, there's balls in the outfield that they won't tag on that are deeper than that.
Yeah.
And to get that run in when you probably could have got out of that inning unscathed was really bad. But hey, I'm glad they're out of Chicago with 2 wins. At the end of the day, you went in there, you took care of business, and you got the Nationals this week. I take a deep breath. It's over. It's over.
Hey, we won a series, guys. Let's not be so stressed.
It's icky. It feels icky. I feel wrong being like, oh, this is really good. Because at the end of the day, we have to be fair and you have to point out what's wrong. And I think this is a good team because they were able to win games when they didn't look so good. 32 strikeouts and 32 innings pitched. Not great, right? But you have a really, really good chance with Paul Skeens on the mound against the Nationals in a 4-game series, and then a not so great Rays team coming in on the weekend. Before we get into the National Series, Scott, you should get all of your baseball cards. And I mean all of your baseball cards. And so help me God, if you get a single baseball card outside of Sports Card Junction.
They were in my hometown today, man. They're at a card show.
They were in Newcastle, the Newcastle show. Yeah. They are awesome. I just went up to the shop today. to grab some packs of cards that we're going to be giving out of the games all this week. I got a really, really nice Topps updated pack that we're going to be giving away for some trivia. Trivia is back, people, courtesy of Sports Card Junction. Go up there, 9011 Perry Highway, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, Pokemon, whatever your heart desires. Sports Card Junction has you covered. The best staff. They're so knowledgeable. They'll help you out. They'll hold your hand throughout the whole process. Or you can go in there and rip some packs. They got a nice sports card bar in there. We're going to be doing some live shows as well. Again, Sports Card Junction. Go into the shop or go to sportscardjunction.com. Scott, why don't you get us kicked off with the Nationals series in game one?
Yeah, so we got a 4-game series. The Nationals are coming into town. This is a team that's still rebuilding down in D.C., our nation's capital. They're entering Monday 7-8, fourth in the NL East. Paul Skeens versus Cade Cavalli, who's probably their frontline starter, right? This is a guy who throws a four-seam, curve, sweeper, sinker, change, cutter. Has a big arsenal. He's a former first-rounder who from University of Oklahoma. Finally regained some health after multiple injury setbacks. The fastball is elite from a velocity standpoint, but can play below velocity due to shape and angle consistency. The stuff has always been there. The upper 90s velocity, plus curve, legit changeup, but the inconsistent command is the thing. This is the only power arm that we're going to face this week.
Tuesday, you got Mitch Keller versus right-handed pitcher Miles Mikolas. 2005, Miles was 8-11, 4.84 ERA in 31 games, 156.1 innings pitched, 100 Ks, 132 WHIP. Versus Pittsburgh, he is 5-6 with a 2.96 ERA with 102 Ks in 25 games. The arsenal is a four-seam sinker, slider, curve, change, sweeper, contact-oriented, pitch-to-contact starter who values from the durability, strike throwing, and sequencing, not bat missing. So hopefully you get some barrels here, increasing the hard contact and barrel issue, very low margin for error in the zone.
I just want to say that his career numbers versus Pittsburgh is mostly like before the last year or so because he's really fallen off. And this is a guy that scares me, even though he's probably going to be one of the worst pitchers in baseball this year. We just saw Herman Marquez duel against us again with the Padres. So keep an eye on Tuesday. Hopefully Mitch Keller gets another quality start. But let's go to Wednesday. Carmen Mlodzinski. Hopefully he stays hot versus Jake Irvin. Last year, 9-13 with a 5.70 ERA. He's kind of their workhorse. Throws a big arsenal, four-seam curve, cutter, sinker, slider, change. Doesn't have overpowering stuff, but his size, durability, and his ability to take the ball every fifth day keep him valuable. He's an innings eater. This season, he's shifting toward a more analytically optimized approach, adding a sweeper and emphasizing horizontal movement and diversifying his usage. He's really relied heavily on his hittable fastball and curve combo in the past. This year, he's sticking with the sinker slider. So interesting to see how we come out against Jake Irving. Adam, take us into the day game on Thursday.
Yeah, and before I do, if you want to break down more in detail than what Scott and I are bringing to you right now, all you have to do is go to buccobantr.com, sign up for our email list, go to your email, opt in, and then all these will be sent to you before the series. That being said, Thursday, you're going to see Braxton Ashcraft again versus left-handed pitcher Foster Griffin. In 26 this year, he's been 2-0, 1.76 ERA in 3 games, 15 in the third, 12 Ks with a 1.11 WHIP. The arsenal, cutter, four-seam, sweeper, change, curve, splitter, sinker. Late blooming lefty who revitalized his career in Japan before returning to Major League Baseball. Now a pitch mix driven, deception-based arm rather than traditional velo or bat missing pitcher. Returned from Japan with a cutter, splitter, heavy approach. So again, this seems like a guy that you might struggle with a little bit.
This was a 2014 first round pick.
Never say never.
Never say never. It could make he's like the Eric Fetty of this year, maybe. Right. So
struggled with Jake Irvin too last year, by the way.
I feel like we did. I was going to go look at the game logs. I remember one of our first series was in Washington, I think, or they were here. And I remember Jake Irvin pitching against us more than once, and I felt like we struggled a bit. But the numbers suggest that we should be hitting him. So we'll see how this goes. I think the biggest test is going to be Cade Cavalli. He's the power arm that if he's on, he could be kind of, a guy that can get some swings and misses. But outside of that, I mean, our offense should be rolling this week. This is a Nationals team that's got an interesting young core with James Wood, Brady House, some other guys, Dalen Lyle. But I mean, we're a better team. And we got to beat these teams. So we'll see how they do at home. should be a fun week. We've had a tough schedule to start the season, boys.
Really tough. And I'm looking forward to showing the world that we can put away teams like this. I'm not talking like a two series split. You got to take 3 games here. You got a perfect opportunity with the front line of your rotation with Skeens, Heller, and then Ashcraft as well. Hitter of the week before we close it out, Oneil Cruz, 9 for 24, 375, 3 doubles, a home run, 3 RBI, 6 stolen bases.
6 backs is nuts.
Yeah. Runner up, Nick York, 7 for 18 with a 389 average, 2 doubles. But Oneil Cruz had the sample size here, and he has just looked really good at the plate.
Nick York's played himself into everyday conversation, boys. He really has, especially with Triolo out. I think that bat is going to be hard to keep out of the lineup. Pitcher of the week, second week in a row. It's only the second week of the season. Braxton Ashcraft, 1 game this week against the Cubs, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 9 Ks, 16 whiffs across 5 innings. He's looked stellar. Obviously, Mitch Keller pitched really well this week. So did Paul Skeens, but it's really hard to ignore Ashcraft's performance. Skeens gets us started tomorrow. All right. We can bounce back from that icky loss, give our bullpen a rest. He can give us hopefully 7 strong. Let's go beat the Nats.
Want to say something before we close it out. We were at Allegheny Coffee and Tea. Again, shout out them. Great live show. Busy day in the Strip District. And our friend Hannah from Mind Fuel, the owner of Mind Fuel, one of our partners, stopped by. She was getting Allegheny Coffee and Tea.
Yeah.
And before our show started, she came by. She said hi to the Bucco Bantr boys. And she said, hey, it's National Breathing Day. Remember to breathe. And that's what I'm telling all of our listeners today.
I love it.
Take a deep breath. It's early. They just won 2 of 3. Breathe. Everything will be okay. Get rid of that icky feeling. The Pirates won the series in Chicago. And guess what? We get to go watch baseball at the best stadium in the entire world tomorrow. We will be there this entire week, except for the Thursday day game, and then all throughout the weekend. So make sure you come say hi. Again, the first giveaway, in-stadium giveaway, will be this week, courtesy of Sports Card Junction. So make sure you come up to us and ask what the giveaway is, and then you can answer that question. If you scan the code below my just terrible face over here on the left-hand side of the screen, brings you to our Discord. I've heard more and more stories about people passing around the ballpark pass in that Discord, and it's awesome to see others helping others out that want to go watch Pirates baseball. If you can't use your ballpark pass, let's get another butt in the seat at PNC Park or in standing room, or join us up on the Rotunda. Wherever you may be, we want to see you down there. So scan that, go to the tickets channel, and you can ask for somebody's ballpark pass or just talk some baseball. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment, tell a friend. Leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your podcast. That helps us out a ton. Download the episodes so you know when they're coming out and you never miss a beat. And until next time, hoist it.
Hoist it.
Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates, or the steak by the plates and